I don't mean to be the bearer of bad news, but if you were hoping to see this guy right here featured as part of the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection, well, it's not looking too good. Yo, what's up? It's your boy Dynasty, back at it again with some more MK this afternoon for you, because today, hot off the wire this morning, Games Radar just posted this article that gives us both good news and bad news. Obviously, the bad news is in regards to this being featured in this collection. Yes, a pipe dream that will continue to be a pipe dream. I wish we had this game with modern netcode, because chances are you, me, all of us would still be playing this. Great fucking game. But, yeah, it does not seem to be the case. The good news is, in this article, we get confirmation that for the first time ever, the version of Mortal Kombat 4 we'll be getting in this Legacy Collection is from the arcade, which is awesome. So before I break all this stuff down and give you guys everything that Stephen Frost from Digital Eclipse had to say with this interview that took place at Summer Game Fest just published today, you guys do me a solid, takes you a second, drop a like on the video in case you missed it. Late last night, posted another video discussing how a NetherRealm Studios VP got promoted at WB to be in charge of both the DC and Mortal Kombat games in terms of like the WB Games division moving forward. Some people think it's a good thing. Some people think it's a bad thing. Me, I'm kind of indifferent because it just kind of seems like the same shit, different day. So if you want to see my thoughts on that, card on the screen right now. And with that said, let me break some hearts, pull your heart out like I'm Kano, and discuss this whole controversy about Mortal Kombat 9 not being featured in the Legacy Collection, at least yet. Never say never, I suppose, but definitely not this year when the Legacy Collection launches. So again, in case you've been living underneath a rock, the official PR synopsis about what the collection includes mentions the entire list of games confirmed, and at the very end it mentions other titles yet to be announced. We don't know exactly how many games are yet to be announced. However, given that in the actual announcement trailer, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 question marks, it seems like it's probably 4 games. That's at least what we're thinking. I've been saying for a few weeks now. My best guess would be Special Forces, Mythologies, MK Gold, and Trilogy. That's just what I'm thinking, because it makes sense given the era that it seems like this collection's gonna be dedicated to. But, some of you guys were really thinking and hoping this was one of them. So yeah, I'm just trying to catch you up to speed with everything going on with this collection. But here is a Games Radar article that got posted earlier this morning dubbed "Notoriously Obtuse Hardware Meant for Mortal Kombat 4 Has Never Accurately Come to Home Consoles, but Legacy Collection Found a Way to Preserve NetherRealm's Full Arcade Roots." This is by Dustin Bailey. I'll have it linked down below. Again, this is an interview with the head at Digital Eclipse who is piecing together the collection. It took place over at Summer Game Fest, where this actually got revealed for the first time ever. Hard to believe it's been a few weeks since then, but doing a deep dive into this. Kicking things off here, it says, with Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection developer Digital Eclipse building on its increasingly impressive history of interactive documentaries to tell us the full story of Mortal Kombat's arcade era, this meant not just putting together the millionth re-release of the original MK trilogy, it also meant finally having to figure out how to properly port Mortal Kombat 4 to home consoles. MK4 is a fully 3D game in contrast to the digitized sprites used in earlier entries, and as Digital Eclipse's Stephen Frost tells me in a Summer Game Fest interview, the transition from 2D to 3D marks an interesting story for the industry as a whole, where every developer had their own struggles and challenges. With development of MK4, we're looking at that had built all these 2D tools to build and improve Mortal Kombat, and they get to 3D and they're like, well, none of this stuff's useful anymore. They have to start all over again. Frost explains. Is this not just a beautiful picture right here, seeing both of these guys in studio next to each other? A travesty! Tobias is not working at NetherRealm. Goes on to say, from a preservation's perspective, he continues, the arcade version of Mortal Kombat 4 has never accurately been brought to home. It's always been ports that had to make adjustments or had to make some assumptions about stuff. It just hasn't been an accurate experience overall, especially a pure arcade experience. There are ports of MK4 to N64, PS1 and PC, and even the Game Boy Color back in the day, but those ports all had serious compromises over the original. Even the latter, MK Gold for Dreamcast, which purported to be an improved version of Mortal Kombat 4, had its own issues. And despite the many, many re-releases of earlier Mortal Kombat titles over the years, we never got an official port that kept the original arcade release intact. And obviously, hashtag free MK4 movement's been around for what feels like a lifetime. It's finally coming to an end because it's gonna be here in all of its glory. Going on, the article goes on to say right here, it's notoriously obtuse hardware, Frost says, explaining that it ran on a custom piece of hardware called Zeus, powered by a variation of now long defunct 3DFX graphics card line. There's very little documentation on it, and this isn't the first time that Digital Eclipse had to create its own solution for the sake of preservation, as the studio previously invested in an Atari Jaguar emulator, something that barely even existed in the world of fan development, to make sure that the Atari 50 collection could tell a complete story of that company's history. They took the same approach with Mortal Kombat 4 to make sure the Legacy Collection story could be complete too. So let me just... They're doing some justice, man. They're doing some justice. If this doesn't get you excited, there's something wrong with you. Going on, the article says, we took it upon ourselves to say, okay, we want to preserve this and have it playable on modern platforms. So we're spending the time to get that working up and running. It's sort of similar to Atari 50. We spent a bunch of time creating a Jaguar emulator because there was no accurate Jaguar emulator out there. So we had to spend time to make it. It's the same thing with Mortal Kombat 4. We're trying to make that version accurate. Of course, there are limits to what Digital Eclipse can do for a single collection, and the fact that this one is specifically focused on MK's arcade era hasn't stopped calls from fans who want every game ever to be included in the package, all the way up to 2011's reboot, known to fans as Mortal Kombat 9. And again, what a great game. This is where I break your heart, because this quote, it leaves some light at the end of the tunnel, but just, it's not happening yet. We can't just jump to MK9, Frost explains. From a technological perspective, that's a huge endeavor, just to be able to take Mortal Kombat 9 and bring it to all of these platforms, but we have to start somewhere, and we have to explain the story from the beginning. Do we want to get to, like, MK9 eventually? That would be phenomenal, but we've got to start somewhere and go there. We can't realistically include everything that everyone wants, just from a project perspective, scope perspective, or technological perspective. So again, I know it seemed highly unlikely, but some of you guys were holding your hope and thinking maybe this is what they were saving for us. And with this quote, again, mentioning how focused on the MK arcade era, it really makes me think that the 3D era games are probably going to get some type of legacy collection, including MK9. If this sells well, maybe in like a year, 2 years, 3 years. But right now it seems like they're going to be focused on the older stuff from the 90s, the early 2000s. And honestly, I'm completely okay with that. For what it's worth, I could pop this into my 360 behind me. It just sucks because obviously the netcode's not there. It's been vastly improved in the decade that's, you know, we've seen since this has actually came out. So, you know, it's bittersweet. Kind of is what it is. Now, closing off this article, it says, interactive documentaries covering everything from the history of Atari to the oddball creations of Jeff Minter. There's no studio I trust more with Mortal Kombat's legacy than Digital Eclipse. A series this legendary deserves more than simply another collection, and it's clear the devs are going above and beyond to show everything that matters from MK's early days. Heck, it even has very bad Game Boy Advance games. How can you beat that? So, I mean, again, cool to know that for the first time ever, we're going to be getting an arcade port, 100% true to the arcade. When this drops, online netcode on point, everything like that. So that's awesome, right? If they can give us MK Gold as well, the Dreamcast version, that'd be amazing. Trilogy would be amazing. The story games, adventure games, mythology, special forces, that'd be amazing. This would have been obviously amazing, but it's just not in the cards. I want to say as well, I watched a couple of days ago, Fate actually interviewed Stephen Frost from Digital Eclipse, and he pretty much echoed the exact same sentiment we're seeing mentioned here, how they just can't do everything all at once. You know what I mean? So, who's to say in a few years, this doesn't get remastered, not even by Digital Eclipse, but NetherRealm. I kind of feel like NetherRealm would probably want to do this. I guess they might be okay with Digital Eclipse porting this modern of a game to modern hardware, but just part of me feels like this is NetherRealm's bread and butter, and they'd probably want to be hands-on on this. Just my thoughts. So yeah, there you go. A nice update regards to the Legacy Collection. Again, there's still no release dates on when this is dropping outside of 2025, but I'm hoping in the coming weeks and months we actually get that revealed. Crossing my fingers, it's not too far off. If I had to guess, I'd say probably September, October, but no idea. But guys, what do you all think of this? Do you think that those 3D era games, including MK9, are probably being saved for another collection down the line? Hell, they could even throw in MKVersus DC as well in that collection. You could have Shaolin Monks, Deadly Alliance, Deception, Armageddon, MK9, MKVersus DC. You could have Mortal Kombat Unchained. I think that warrants a full price game. You know what I mean? Obviously, it would have been great to have every single Mortal Kombat game ever with one game, but hey, they got to start somewhere, and obviously if they did that, we probably wouldn't get this collection for another year, 2 years. So I'm not going to complain at all. I'm going to take what we're getting because honestly, it's better than waiting any longer. It's already been the 30-year anniversary of Mortal Kombat, so I'm happy. I'm content. It seems like Stephen Frost and the guys at Digital Eclipse are going to do this game some justice. And we'll see what this evolves into in the future. But guys, that's all I got for y'all today. Drop a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe to some more MK content like this on the channel. Until next time, I've been your host, Ben Dynasty. Guys, please take care, stay safe. I love you. Thank you for watching. I have all this linked down below. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace.
Stepping on the crack, but I'm not superstitious. Count all these racks, I be steady, counting my digits. Stepping on the crack,